Hi there, I'm Richard Denning from Medusa Games, and this is a video about the solo mode in Here Comes a Candle. Here Comes a Candle is an expansion to our game Oranges and Lemons, and Oranges and Lemons incorporates a number of multiplayer expansions such as event cards, objectives, some new cargo tiles, and larger sized bells. But what we're going to be talking about today is this solo mode. So let's just get on with it, shall we? So here I am in the corner, so you can see the game. I've set up this game as for a two-player game, and that's because Oranges and Lemons solo mode in Here Comes a Candle is a two-player game. It is you against the game. Can you outscore the game? And in particular, what it uses is the career tiles that were incorporated in the original base game. I'll show you them over here. I just switch to a different view here. Then you'll be able to see these a little bit better. So these are the career tiles, and there are 6 of these in the base game. Moneylender and Trader are just 2 of them, and I've randomly drawn these today. You haven't come across these or haven't used these, you're probably going to want to go away and at least have a read of the rules on them before you try to use them in a game. So I have randomly drawn the Moneylender tile to be the game, and I'm going to be the trader. Back over here in the layout here, we've got 2 player boards. The white player is going to be the game player and is going to be the moneylender. So I'm just going to put that tile down there so that we can see it. The moneylender starts the game with a level 1 loan, so I've given them that. I am the trader, so let's put a tile over there. The trader starts the game with 2 victory points, or on the 2 victory point position on the transaction track that's in St Catherine's Market. In game, the trader can also always sell goods at the higher value, even if the other player has already gone to the higher value spot. Okay then, so I'm the trader. I'm going to see as a trader, can I beat the moneylender? Now, in Orange and Lemon solo mode, the human player always goes first. So, if we have a look over here, we will see that I'm playing blue, so I've gone first. Then there are 2 pieces that are going to be the game player, and then over here we have a piece for me. The setup of the game over here in terms of the boards is as per normal play. Since I'm going first, I've taken 5 coins, and since the game player is going second, I've given them 6 coins. Elsewhere on the board, there are just a couple of slight adjustments to make. In particular, over here with the cargo tiles. So we take our normal stack of 12 cargo tiles, and we put 2 of them here on the deck, and we then place on top of it one of these tiles, which is an end game tile. That just tells us when we're entering the end game phase, the final 2 turns of the game. We place on the top of that the other 10 level 3 cargo tiles, and then the ship change tile and the 10 level 2 cargo tiles as per usual. Over here, I have got the key part of the solo play, and let's have another look at that to zoom in on it. So this is in the expansion. Okay, these are all going to be printed on the same card stock as the endgame scoring card here. Nice thick card stock and the player boards. This is just prototype art at the moment, but it is nearly finished and will be printed on thicker cardstock. So we've got the moneylender, what we call career priority cards. So each of the 6 careers in the game has one of these cards, and this is the algorithm. This is what's going to drive the game from the perspective of the solo mode. To the right of it here, I've got a location rules card, which is 2-sided and has a brief summary of what the game will get up to in the locations around the board. Sometimes these things are fairly standard and obvious. Other times we've given a few instructions to drive the game. We have a few of the components like these random location cards, and this is called the third worker priority tile. But for the moment, we're going to be using these to get the game going. So in fact, let's get the game going, and I'll explain how these work as we go along. So, as we've said, this is going to be a two-player game, me against game. I'm going first, so I'm going to do a standard move, pretty much for me, which is to go off and to upgrade my transport. Now let's have a look and see what the game gets up to in the game. So, the career priority card is broken down into these several sections. Round 1, the pre-ship change, the post-ship change, the last 2 rounds, bell priority, and over here, shares. Some of these I will come back to, but right now we're looking at round 1. And this is going to tell us what's going to happen in round 1. And there are 3 lines here. The top line says 6 or 2/8. The second line says 13 or 14 if there is a bell cargo. If there's no bell cargo, then 2 and then 8. What this is doing is that you look first of all at the top line and you start on the left hand side and you say, can the game place a worker in location 6? And the answer is yes, it can. So that is what it would do. It now has a second worker and it will place it in either 2 or if I'd gone there, then location 8. But 2 is available, so that is where it goes. And each of the 6 career activity cards have different sort of starting instructions here. Okay, that's done. So what I'm going to do, having upgraded my transport, is I am going to go over there to the Shoreditch. So just to show you, I put the games worker on 6, the games worker on 2, and I've gone to Shoreditch. Let's run the turn. So turns basically work identically to multiplayer. The only occasional exceptions are where a choice has to be made about things like cargoes and ships and what the game will do, and that is summarised in the rules or on these location rule cards. But right now, the game has gone to space number 2 and is going to take 4 coins. So that's what we will do. Put it back on the track and take 4 coins. There we go. And then it is on space 6, so it's going to place a bell. Now, we know that when it comes to placing a bell, you have to place your smallest level bell before you can place a middle level bell before you can place your largest level bell. And that same rule applies to the game. If we have a look at the location rules card for space number 6, it says place biggest bell. So what that actually means is that it would attempt to place the largest bell it could possibly do, but it has to obey the rules just like anybody else. So right now it's got 10 coins. So theoretically it could place a level 2 bell, but it can't. It has to place its level 1 bell first. So off we go, spend the 5, pop the bell down. Now the question is, where do we put the bell? Well, that's where the bell priority part of this chart comes in, and there's a series of numbers here, and on the left-hand side we can see number 4. Is number 4 available? It is, and so it will place its bell in number 4. Okay, right. Round to me over here. I spend my 3 and upgrade my transport. The East India Company happens. First out the bag of +2, and then a -1. So the share price goes up a net 1. There. And then I'm going over there, and I'm just going to grab a couple of quick, cheap things out of Shoreditch markets. Stretch over there to get it. Here we go. And pop that in my transport. There we go. End of the turn sequence happens as per normal. Replenishing the areas that we have to do. Pay victory points if somebody had a ship. Issue interest on loans. The game player has a level 1 loan. It has a bell in space number 4, so it gets 2 coins. And then we shuffle down the cargoes as per normal, and we go with turn number 2. Turn number 2. What is the game going to do? It's going. Let's put my workers back on the track. We can see from the track that the game is going to go first. So let's see what it does. Let's have a look at its career priority card. So we're now moving down from the round 1 bit to this pre-ship change. So this defines what the game is going to do in the phases up to the ship change. Now you'll notice on here we have the top line says check and then icons for storage. What that means is to see if it has a cube in its storage, one or more cubes in its storage, and if it does, and if those cubes aren't committed for anything, then it would attempt to do a cargo if it's able to, and if it can't do that, it would try and sell them in St. Catherine's Market. Now, all of these instructions, all of these things that are on this card are defined in detail in the rules in a section like this, the glossary. So each of these phrases has a couple of sentences which explain what do we mean by this, these symbols and all these phrases. Okay, so it doesn't have any problem with its storage. It doesn't have cubes in storage, so we move on. Below this, we've got this red box area and the words "you must." What this means is the moneylender must attempt to achieve these objectives before the bag change, before the ship change occurs. If it doesn't do that by the time we get to the ship change, it can't progress to the post-ship change logic up here until it's completed these actions up here, the ones in red, and they always have some sort of numerical value, and that's what you do. That's what they have to do. They have to do 1 class 2 loan, obtain 2 storage, recruit 3 workers, place a bell, and then these things down here are additional possible priorities that it might attempt to do once it's done all of these things. So this is how it works. At the start of the turn, I'm considering what is this worker going to do. I've had a look at the storage. Don't need to do anything with that. The next thing we get is class 2 loan. Is it able to issue a class 2 loan? And at the moment, the space for the loans is available, number 4. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 coins at present. So it can't do the class 2 loan right now. However, it's got 2 workers, and just like a human player, it will use its workers to attempt to achieve the objective. So if it's in a position to do the loan and also get the money required, it will do that. And right now, it can do that. It can go and grab the space for the loan, and it will go and grab the space for the money. Now, the game defines what the game player would do in a situation where it didn't have 2 turns on the trot like that, where I was sort of maybe before its second worker. And what it would do, first of all, is it would first of all attempt to get the space required for the action, and then generally then go and get the money. All right. If actually we get round to it and it didn't have enough money, it would still, the logic of that space would tell it to issue the biggest loan that was possible, which obviously wouldn't be a level 2 loan. But anyway, for now it's doing what it wants to do. Let's move on ourselves. I've got some cubes over there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and sell both of them. I am the trader. I'm already advancing ahead on the transaction track. I like to keep that lead. Anyway, I don't mind having a bit more cash, so I've gone there. So let's run the turn. So space number 2, the game gets 4 coins. He then spends 10, so all but 1, on buying or issuing a level 2 loan. This means it has achieved the first thing on its priorities, that is required, compulsory things that it has to do. Right, come around to me. I sell these 2 cubes here for a 3 and a 4, so that is a 7. Don't mind if I do, and I of course advance on the transaction track on 2. Okay, there's my money. Get round to the East Indies Company. The stock market crashes by 50% and recovers by 2. So it goes on 1, ends up on 3. Right. Okay. End of the turn. Replenish. Issue interests on loans. Now it's got 5 income coming in, which isn't bad by the end of the second turn of the game. Cargoes get shuffled down. We move on to move number 3. The game players still in the first position. Let's see what it does next. So we go down its priority. Doesn't have any cubes in storage. It has done the class 2 loan, so we move on to obtain 2 storage. It has the space for doing that is available, space number 10. So it will go and grab space number 10. And having done that, it will move on down, and it will be attempting to recruit 3 workers. Now, we know that in order to recruit 3 workers, you need to be in a position where you have 2 storage. You have 3 coins at the beginning of the turn. You need also to be able to pick up a couple of cubes, and you need to be able to go to space 15. Okay. Now, right now with 1 action to go, it can't do all of that, but it can start the process. And in the game, and in the solo mode, the only action that we allow the game to sort of continue to work on from turn to turn, to have sort of memory, if you like, from one turn to the next, is the recruit 3rd worker action, because it requires more than one game round in order to be able to achieve that. So it has to be spread over a couple of rounds. Otherwise, in all other cases, all other actions, the game doesn't, at the start of a turn, it doesn't remember what it was doing the previous turn. You just run the algorithm, use the logic. But in the case of recruiting the 3rd worker, it needs to sort of continue a process that it began the previous turn. All right, and to show that, we've got this recruit 3rd worker tile here, which we place on the creativity priority card to override the logic, and I'll show you what that does when we get to the start of the next turn. But what is it going to do right now? Well, right now it's going to be spending the 6 that it has got. The 3 that it has got, leaving it with 3. 3 is enough for it to next turn to go there. But of course, it's going to also need cubes. And there aren't 2 free cubes in Shoreditch. There's nowhere else to get 2 free ones easily with 1 action. So what it's probably going to need to do is to put itself in a position where next turn it would be able to get those cubes. Basically means it needs money. Now, so it's going to go off and take the money. In the case, I know the moneylender has got loans and there's going to be income coming in at the end of the turn, but we don't want the human player to have to think of every possible contingency. So the game player won't remember that. It don't require you to remember that either. It needs money. It goes and gets money. The fact that it's going to end up with more money at the end of the turn is, in the end of the day, not a bad thing for it anyway. Okay, so what am I going to do? I have money, and I can therefore go and do the recruit 3rd worker myself right now. So I can spend the 3, and now I need a couple of cubes from somewhere, 2 cheap things. I think Shoreditch is still the cheapest place. I will go there. Okay, let's run the turn. So space number 2, the game takes 3 coins. Okay, then it places that back on the space, and then it upgrades 3. There we are. His company happens. Right, so what have we got? We've got +1, +1, so the stock market goes up by 2. I'm going to buy that remaining cheap, so free brick, and then there should have been a black cube on there. I'm going to take the black cube that's there. It just cost me 1. Right, and then I'm going to hand in those 2 cubes to get my 3rd worker. End of the turn. Interest payments. It's a 5. Then reset cargoes here. Oops. Making a mess of this. Right, okay. Let's go again then. Right, well, yet again, the game is going to go first. I look at the career activity card, priority card, to see what it does. And at that point, I see that there is this tile here, and what that means is that the logic on the card is overridden in the moment, and what you have to do is to see whether or not it is possible for the game to place a worker on location number 15. And it is possible to do that. So that is what it will do at cost of 3. And then it requires 2 cubes. I need 2 cubes to be able to hand over when the time comes. It will always attempt to get the cheapest 2 cubes possible. So I look across at Shoreditch. There are a couple of one gold cubes over there, but there is also for the cost of 2 a couple of lemons in St Clement's, and it will always go to the lower number location in order to get higher priority in the following turn. That's just in the rules, so it goes there. Right, so what am I going to do? 5 over there. So I think what I'm going to do, is I'm going to go off and get an East Indies shipment gone on the go. That means I haven't got an awful lot of money right now, so actually I'm just going to go easy and go and grab first place, because I've not been going first for a while, and also lots of lovely money. Right, so let's run the turn. So I'm going to take 6 coins in space number 8. Pop that on the blue. East Indies Company. Let's see what I get. No sunken ships here, please. There we go. Right, well, okay. So interesting. I've got I was hoping for a recurring cargo. The stock market goes up by 4, of course. It's rocketing high at the moment. No one's going to buy any shares anytime soon. I can't carry that much cargo, so I'm going to go just for the 15 money there. Means at least for some time I'm not going to have any financial problems. There we go. Right. Okay, let's get round to over here. And yep, you know what? I totally missed the game player, which of course should have gone and bought its 2 lemons nice and early in the sequence. So let's do that. And get its 2 things for the cost of 2. Okay, and then it hands in those 2 lemons and gets its 3rd worker. There we go. End of the turn. Replenish the lemons. Issue interest, which is going to be still the 5. There's the 5. Do the cargoes. And we are good to go again. Now, finally, I'm actually at the beginning of things here. I've got quite a bit of money, so I'm going to go straight back into the East Indies and see if we can get any better luck. We're getting towards the ship change, and I would like, if I can, to get a recurring cargo. So, let's do that. Right, that's me done. Right. what's the game going to do? Well, let's flick ourselves back to its chart. So it's now achieved this thing, so we just remove that tile. It has no further function in the game. And we go down its priority thing. So check storage. It doesn't have any cubes in storage. It's class 2 loan. It has obtained to storage. It has recruited 3 workers. It has also placed a bell. So actually, it has achieved everything it needs to do before the ship change. So we progress on. We get to issue loan. Okay, so it will go and grab the issue loan space. Right, then it is me again. So what I am going to do is I am just going to go for some buying and selling. Or no, I'm going to go get some more transport because I could do with increasing that. And then I think I'll go and mop up some goods over here at Shoreditch. Right, let us run the torso. There's the game player. So it's trying to issue a loan. Now, when you look at that in the glossary, what you get is issue biggest loan. So it'll issue the biggest loan possible. Right now, it's got 11 coins, so it'll be able to issue a level 2 loan, which is nice. But actually, it could afford and is able to do a level 3 loan, and the space to get the other 4 it needs is available. So it'll do what it has to do to try and do the best it can do following the logic. And the logic is get biggest bell. And whilst it can afford level 2 bell, it has the ability in the game to do what it needs to do to actually afford a level 3 bell. So that is what it will do. We'll go and get the money, and then it will do things. Right, now what happens? We get buy, sell shares. Well, the share price is rather high, and if we have a look at the priority card, we have this section that says shares, and it says the buy range is 1 to 3, the sell range is 8 to 10. The game would only buy shares if the price of the shares was in that 1 to 3 range, which it is not. So it doesn't buy any shares. So we bypass that logic. It is not possible, or it doesn't make sense, or it's not possible as the rules define. Therefore, we get to draw the card. Okay, so let's have a look at this card. I'll zoom in a minute on that. There we go. So this card says, does it have 5 or more uncommitted gold? It has all the money that it has got over here. Well, it has 11 gold. It doesn't have 5 or more uncommitted gold. So we ignore this top bit and we move to the bottom bit. It says less than 5 uncommitted gold. Go to the blue spot in space 8 if it's available, which is what it will do. Okay, if it couldn't do that, it would go to space 2 or back to an ordinary space in space 8. It only does the top thing if it's got spare cash. And these cards are all random locations that will send the game player off in occasionally an unpredictable way. The algorithm players can read and kind of work out what the game is going to do most of the time. These are in there to create a little bit of randomness. So we all know that playing against other humans can often involve randomness. Okay, let's run the turn. So space number 2, the game gets 4. I shall keep those 4 and take the 11 on its board, and that gets us to 15, which means it can take a level 3 loan. There we are. Now, that's not the space number 4. Space number 8. What does it do in space number 8? Let's have a look at what the location rules say. Location rules here say check commitments. That simply means that you can get cubes in space number 8. So does it need one of these cubes to do whatever it's doing in the game? And the answer is no, it doesn't. So we then say it says, if less than 10 uncommitted gold, and at the moment it has no gold, then take gold. Otherwise, take VPs. So it will take 3 gold coins at this point in time. Okay, there we go. Right, I spend 7 and get myself one of those nice horse and cart things. I've heard are all the rage. Let's see if I get a decent recurring ship. Look, the stock market crashes 50%. And recurring money. Okay, well, so 9, 4.5 rounded to 5 on there. Sorry, I realised I was just showing you the board. So I've got these two. I've got a sunken ship and we got a recurring coin thing. Obviously, I'm going to choose the recurring coins. Take my 3 coins now. Doesn't hurt to have a bit of money coming in, especially with old money bugs over there. Right, get rid of you. Put you back on the track. And then I was planning on just mopping up a bit of cheap stuff with lots of money that I've got here. Actually got really quite a bit of money, haven't we? So I think it wouldn't hurt to buy quite a bit. Got four storage there. So let us take that's a 1. That's a 0. That's a 1. So that's a 3. That's a 4. Well, that wasn't too bad, was it? Could have taken more, I suppose, but I'm not overly strategizing this. I'll just go with the 4 there for now. Right, fine. Okay. End of the turn. Replenish things. Give the interest payments now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, Moneylender is getting lots of money coming in. I will deal with the cargoes over here. Oop. Doop, doop. 1, 2. And at that point, we have in fact hit the ship change position in the game. So actually, I'm going to be leaving the game there for now. I'm going to do a part 2 with the rest of the game to see who wins. Let's just have a very quick look at where we are in the game. We each have three workers in play. I have no bells in play as yet, but the game player has got 1 bell. It's got 3 loans and lots of money coming in. I'm better than it on storage though, and I have some money coming in and some cubes there. So is the game ahead of me? Am I going to be able to catch up? We'll find out in another recording. Thank you for listening.